hey, we're trying to get this whole
That one
system.
always worked. This one didn't work. And then the one right one.
The whole wiring is disconnected. That's why.
It's easy to figure out. You just fucking trace it.
Yeah, I know.
It's very easy.
The one white one, one red one worked, the one white one didn't, one red one didn't.
You hear that?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Freedom Honey Podcast as we continue our descent into cult-like status. Yes, that was our beloved Pedro hard at work, yelling at his apprentice. Really, really good stuff. Need more of it. Keeps you grounded and whatnot. Anyway, welcome to the show. And for all you new listeners, this is the time for us to get together and talk about the good, talk about the bad, talk about the bullshit of the week, and random stuff that I found on Twitter, or X now. And with that, guys, I drink through these. So I'm going to crack open a fresh PBR. And we're going to get into the hot topics of this week. All right, first things first. I believe. So I saw this thing from creepy.org. A British Columbian woman posted a Facebook hiking group about a strange encounter while hiking in the remote part of Canada. She says she took this photo on Vancouver Island of a strange and hairy person that only scowled, stared, and did not talk or communicate. The woman claimed that she was shaking when she captured the photo and eventually turned away and left the area. God, I hope it's a Sasquatch. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I really do believe. Just look at the oceans. We've explored like 5% of the oceans. We haven't explored everywhere on land yet. I mean, there's tribes in the Amazon that we don't even know about. So the fact that there could be a large bipedal human-like species out there that's hiding and staying away from us for obvious reasons. Plus, there's like 40,000 sightings a year. I say these bastards are real, and I kind of hope they don't get found, because the last thing I would want to see is one strung up in a museum or put in a cage. So that's just my theory on that. Feel free to comment if you believe, or where you guys are at with that kind of stuff. All right. Next, Canada's Most Wanted. So this was RCMP in Ontario posted this. Wanted. I'm going to screw up this name. Sweetheart, I apologize. Tatiana Kovaluk. Anyway, they're warning right now to stay away from this person. Do not approach for the grievous act of breaking the Income Tax Act under other offenses. Now, I kind of looked into like other offenses, and it was like falsifying documents, fraudulent names, ticking the wrong box. But anyway, apparently this person is extremely dangerous and wanted by the RCMP. So take it for what you will. Sweetheart, if you're cheating the tax system, good on you. At this point, take your money. Speaking of taking money, yeah, let's talk about gold. The old gold heist of last year. 6 arrested, 3 sought in Toronto Pearson's Airport, $24 million in gold and cash heist. So last year, if you guys remember, Pearson Airport had this, how do you want to say it, a robbery of $24 million in gold. Now, they did catch the perpetrators, the ringleaders, if you will. I gotta say, I was watching the video of how they did this elaborate scheme, and here I am thinking that it's gonna be like the Lufthansa heist from like the mob back in the day, or like did they use tunnels? Was there like secret outfits or codes or nothing? Like, no, it was like the guy showed up with a fake waybill and had the employees at the airport load the gold onto his truck. I mean, there was a little bit of inside, knowing that this is a gold delivery, knowing what time, kind of planning that part. But I mean, the real hard part's after. Once you get $24 million in gold, trying to find a fence or a way to move it, that's the hard part. These guys had elaborate like kilns set up in their house and were making like makeshift jewelry that they were obviously trying to sell to some sketchy brokers and stuff like that. So obviously they're gonna get pennies on the dollar for a lot of this stuff. But good. I kind of want to say good on them. Like, I mean, this is like there was no weapons, no one was kidnapped, there was no It wasn't like a. It was kind of like a good old fashioned heist, you know, and that's it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I don't like crime or anything like that, but I mean, you go in there, act the part, give the way bill, and then even have the airport employees load it for you. I mean, well done, boys. That's pretty cool. And the fact that they only found like 89,000 worth of like makeshift gold bracelets and 400 grand in cash. Oh yeah. I mean, these guys are going to get slapped on the wrist. I'll do a couple of years for 20 million bucks in gold, and why not? So I'm interested to see what happens here. But they're already out on bail. I think like one guy was spotted going into like his gym. I think I saw like a news thing where they like revoked his gym membership because there was outrage. But yeah, I mean, you can always go to Planet Fitness. I'm sure they're screaming for business right now. If you get that one. Anyway. Okay, let's talk about the budget. So the big budget came down this week. And of course, it's bloated. It's terrible, and well, we're just gonna get slightly into it. I mean, everybody knows it's just a bunch of libs trying to buy votes. They're already screwing around with the election, moving it a day so that they can all have their pensions and stuff like that. But this is really just to buy votes with, quite frankly, my generation, the millennials. As I say, the federal budget is a liberal strategy driven by panic. It's a glossy re-election brochure to convince voters they need to keep Trudeau to enjoy his continued generosity. Guys, you can't just keep throwing money at the situation. You're causing more inflation. The nice thing is people are starting to realize this, that you can't just keep running deficit after deficit after deficit. You'll bankrupt the country. That being said, when she was questioned about this, I mean, people are starting to wise up. She was questioned about this. It was the most googly gog answer I've ever heard. So let's hear it.
I just wanted to raise one thing with you. You know, your critics say that the Liberals are good at addition, not so good at subtraction. And that right now the cost of servicing the debt in Canada is $46 billion in 2023-24. That's more than, I think, what is spent on the Canada Health Transfer. Your critics say spending measures on top of that are reckless. What do you say to them?
Well, I say actually that is economically illiterate and completely ignoring the international comparators. You know, there are some issues where you can have a partisan discussion and you can have different values. Whether a woman has a right to choose or not, there's a real partisan debate. Whether you believe in gun control, a real partisan debate. But it is just a fact, an economic fact, that Canada today has the most fiscally responsible policy in the entire G7.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me either. Economically illiterate, something about abortions in there, gun control. Oh, we're doing better than everyone else. I mean, that that's not a comparison. I mean, quit trying to compare yourself to the neighbors. If your neighbors are under and you're going under, I mean, no, you're all going under. Anyway, keep spending and lining your pockets as you inflate the piggy bank. Sorry, empty the piggy bank. And the rest of us got to pay for it. I mean, they had stuff, a bunch of weird stuff in this one too. The capital gains thing, people are like, oh, it's only going to be to tax the rich, and the rich will pay off the deficit. I mean, you people are absolute morons. A lot of people in Ontario have like second homes. Alberta, people have like hunting cabins or like trailers. And that's what capital gains is going to go after. Like the upper middle class people. So, yeah. Where else did she say about this? Yes, let's talk about the halal mortgages. Trudeau government announces halal mortgages. Here's what they are. Here's what they are. The federal budget mentions the creation of halal mortgages as a means to enable Muslim Canadians and other diverse communities. I think Muslims are the only ones that halal, but anyway, to further participate in the housing market. Yes, because having non-religious mortgages would stop them from buying houses. Again, buying votes. So I made a quick comment. And like just like that, in one day, Canada became predominantly a Muslim country. Now, excuse me while I go yell at my wife to cover her face. So, halal mortgages. People are all over the place with this. And I just did the old-fashioned thing. Ask a leb. I called my buddy Ziggy. He's my barber, solid cat, and we were talking about this. And he's like, Mike, there's just in their faith. I mean, they don't charge interest; it's illegal. So what they do is basically they just get they get a lender, they buy the house. There's massive fees. Basically, all the what you would pay for interest is basically calculated on top, and that's basically their fee. Now, it's still really beneficial because your rate doesn't ever change. So if you pay, let's say, $2,600 a month, you're going to pay $2,600 a month till it's completely paid off. So to me, like I said, if I have to convert to get a wicked deal on my mortgage and not have to worry about interest rates, I'm down. I will. Let's hoist up the Palestinian flag and let the Jew hating begin, because Mike's gonna paint the town red with savings. All right, hilarious. All right, Army scandal of the week. So, good friend of V4F, solid cat, caused in Georgia, dropped this gem of a story. The Canadian Forces tried to cover the scandal, but I'm blowing the lid. Salute you, sir. Blow that lid wide open. So a chaplain who was hailed as Canada's military and LGBTQ champion on Transgender Day of Visibility has been suspended following an alleged groping request. All right, I've got to break it down. A source familiar to the incident who chose to remain anonymous over fears of personal and professional retaliation alleged that Gail, I think this person's name is Gail, I don't know, some fake name. Anyway, Gail had become intoxicated during a dinner at the mess hall and asked to grope a male lieutenant's buttocks. And at first, you're like, a lot of people get drunk at mess dinners. Trust me, I've had my share. But this is a subordinate, so I mean that's not cool. True North reached out to Gail for an opportunity to comment, but did not receive a response. Miller said that the military handled the conduct reveals as a double standard. If a male officer behaved in a similar manner towards a subordinate female, the situation would have been dealt very differently, and the offender's name would be leaked to the press. Unfortunately, there's a lack of equality in how the Canadian Forces handle such allegations. When asked why the Canadian Forces didn't refer the matter to the civilian police, as the military has done before in cases where sexual assault or harassment have been suspected, D&D said that the case was not referred to civilian authorities by the military police due to the considerations of the victim's interest and those of justice. Basically, they swept it under the rug. Now, having someone request to squeeze a butt, I mean, that's weird. Request to squeeze an ass. Anyway, definitely weird, but it's not so much of what they did. It was the sweeping under the rug, which is disgusting. I mean, but these people are a protected class in Canadian society, and they get to do whatever they want. And of course, anything like this happens, it gets swept under the rug, gets hidden, documents are burned, and the days just continue. So whoever this lieutenant was, sorry, man. I feel bad for you. So, yeah, I'm surprised that this didn't make more of news. So yeah, if you guys go check them out, share the story because it's got to get out there. Because I mean, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And like I always refer to, it's another nail into the coffin that is the Canadian Armed Forces. Okay, awesome. Steal from Loblaws Day. Let's check this out. So, an unknown party is organizing a Steal from Loblaws Day. I'm like, these people are terrible with the names. Yes, it's to the point. I'll give you that. But I mean, you think it could have come with something cooler. Anyway, this is supposed to happen May 12th. It's not only ridiculous, it's criminal. This is like commie bullshit. This is more of these commie retards that straight up feel like they are entitled to whatever. They hate Galen Weston, and they believe the lies of Jagmeet Singh. That Loblaws is the worst corporation in the world, and they're just gouging from everyone. Even though Jagmeet's brother is a lobbyist for Metro, but we won't get into that. So yeah, to the commies who came up with this, just stay home. I don't want my groceries going up. I mean, it's probably gonna be like 3 people, or just gonna be a bunch of people that feel empowered to do this. But yeah, definitely life losers. Go get a job. Why do you guys steal food? Go work. If you need to make more money, work harder. Anyway, yes, but at the same time, I do understand the price of food has gotten nuts. I think it's because we're taxed to death. Carbon tax and every other thing has gone up. So of course, like anything, food goes up as well. Right, now we're going to get everyone's favorite segment of the show, the Freedom Honey Douche of the Week. This one is particularly irking for me because it involves my friends. So, failed journalist and misinformationalist. Yeah, let's go with that. Rachel Gilmore, also a waste of a perfectly fine pair of tits, and a very deceptively hot mother. Yeah, her mom's got this whole like J.K. Rowling look to her, and Pedro approved. Very Pedro approved. I don't think Rachel has found a job since getting canned, mysteriously canned from Global. Following Global had a few days after Global settled a defamation suit that she caused because she how would I say it? Called someone a white supremacist and neo-Nazi, who obviously wasn't. And then there was a lawsuit for defamation, and then some settlement, and then 3 days later, she mysteriously got canned. But yes, Rachel, it's because of white supremacy, and everyone's out to get you. Anyway, that's besides the point of what happened this week. So she decided to attack friend of the show, Corey Morgan, and a couple other guys. We'll get into that too. Wow, looks like the Western Standards Corey Morgan was also on this Diagolong affiliated live stream. Very thin masks are being peeled off. First of all, I was never going to really bring this up because I think she's irrelevant. But honestly, this bitch just needs to be put in her place. This is followed Tony the Anti-Fascist Swan. I mean, these people are just terrible names. Anyway, so Zach Smith from the Schmidt podcast. I do like his work. Had a kind of a round table discussion about Western separatism. On it, he had friend of the show Corey Morgan and friend of the show Tariq El Naga, aka the cowboy from Dubai, and Tariq being leadership nominee for the Maverick Party, Corey being part of the Alberta Independence Party. I mean, these were the perfect guys to talk to about this, especially because Quebec right now, their provincial election, their separatist parties like doing the best. So we could definitely see there be and their leader said they're going to probably do another referendum for separation. And personally, if Quebec gets the hell out of Canada, I mean, we're not far behind. I mean, we're going to jump ship while the getting's good before we get stuck with the check that Ontario gave us. So I did listen to this live stream. It was very well. I mean, guys spoke well. And it was just, talking about, the old, as I look at it, as Plan B. And of course, she had to open her mouth and say, y'all just a bunch of bigots and white supremacists because back in the day you said this or blah, 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 and no one cares about me. And so anyway, she's been doing interviews ever since all week, and they're getting pretty embarrassing. But nevertheless, Rachel Gilmore for I don't know, attacking my friends, I would say. And I mean, you call them all white supremacists and stuff like Tariq is brown, like he's from Dubai. But for being the queen of disinformation, you miss are this week's Freedom Honey Douche of the Week. That's Pedro approved, Mike approved, Beaver County approved, and we'll go from there. All right, merchandising, and like everything, because I swear and I drink through these, and I'm not politically correct. We have a good tendency to get demonetized here down at the Freedom Honey compound and the rest of the host on the V4F network. So, yeah, if you want to support the show, if you want to support the good causes that they're doing, go buy some merch and watch the ad. Yes, and you too can pick up the limited edition Temple of the Holy Pedro. What are they going to do? Fire Me Harder Classic Tee. A fine gift item for the cult-like member in your family. Right, Alberta News. YG Wave. I like these guys. Whoever these YG Wave guys are, I don't know if it's one person or not. Solid. The videos that come out of this account, highly recommend the follow. It's like as on the show we cover like the dirty laundry of Beaver County. This person's like the laundromat of Edmonton, and it's fantastic. Anyway, so they brought up the fact that the woke failed mayor of Calgary, Jyoti Gondik, kind of had her let them eat cake moment. So Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondik stated that the idea of never owning a home and embracing lifelong renting is a liberating experience. Gondek, who owns 2 properties in Calgary, shared these views during a conversation with the development company RNDSQR. She remarked, "We're starting to see a segment of the population reject the idea of owning a home, and they're moving towards rental because it gives them more freedom." Mayor Jyoti Gondek criticized the traditional notion of home ownership and linked the concept to home ownership to being stuck in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. She described the traditional pursuit of home ownership as reminiscent of past decades and highlighted the need for municipalities to adapt to modern housing preferences, according to Gondek disclosure statement. She currently owns a property in the Panorama Hills and the downtown East Village of Calgary. So I think it just irks me. I mean, owning a home, this was like my dream growing up. I mean, I have, my parents are boomers, and they were able to purchase a home and had a great life out in the suburbs, and it was picturesque. And especially when I started working, I wasn't making very much money, and I figured if I worked hard, did my schooling, and worked my way up, I would one day be able to afford my own home, and that's what I did, and it's awesome. And then from there, we moved out here to the middle of nowhere out in Beaver County, and it's even way better. I don't see my neighbors. I have tons of land. I can do whatever I want, and I can go in the backyard, jump on the quad, and run around with the dogs. It's fantastic. So that to me is what's liberating. If you're not a home buyer person and you just want to rent, or if you want to live like the bohemian lifestyle and just go travel for the rest of your life or work on a laptop, that's cool too. I know people that do it and they have a kick-ass time. But I like the fact that I can work all day, work hard, come home, sit down on my couch in my house, crack open a beer, and I enjoy doing DIY projects and working on it. It's just a personal thing, but hey, it keeps you grounded, it keeps you real. All right, guys, and big news this week. So this Wednesday, yours truly will be on the Corey Morgan Show. That'll be 12 noon East Mountain Standard Time. So straight up, we're just taking over the show. So it'll be the Freedom Honey Show with special guest Corey Morgan. We're going to talk about what the Army needs and a couple other good stuff. Personally, I think the Army just needs a massive enema at this point. The culture needs to change. I think that the rot, they got to get rid of it. And try to build a culture of patriotism and values and morals, and get rid of the woke crap and focus more on training and personal development than painting rainbow sidewalks. And we'll get into it this week. So watch the show, share the show, and it should be pretty good. Okay, then we get to our Pedro update of this week. He's doing pretty good. His goat had baby goats. So enjoy that next level of cuteness. Fantastic stuff. So that was the big news coming out of the Pedro compound this week. And with that, guys, a little bit of V4F stuff. We're planning a big event. I really can't get much into details. It's gonna be on Red Deer. There's gonna be tons more information. It's gonna be a live event. I'm really, really excited about this because it'll get to be a fun meet and greet and networking and be cool vendors and food and everything. It's gonna be awesome. And with more information will come out as that happens or as it gets. And I'm sure Drew and the rest of the guys will be more than happy to share all that stuff. And with that, guys, that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks again for following. Thanks for sharing. We're gonna cut you guys off with your moment of bliss, which is gonna be Pedro's goats. And with that, guys, take care. God bless. All hail the Queen Bee, and we're out.
This is why people OD on pills and jump from the Golden Gate Bridge. Anything to feel